What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Endgame. We're here to draft again. It's a mock time. If you want to get in and mock, there's always a line. We have some information that'll help you out there. I'm going to keep talking about it because we want you to know that we have now joined with Fantasy Flock. You can go to flockfantasy.com/endgame. There it is. And you get access to all sorts of stuff, but most importantly, the link to that live draft that is about to get on to the comment section here. And I know y'all are waiting for, but you get access to that. Also the Discord, which I know is always popular, bonus articles, rankings, and so much more. So I do encourage you after we're done here to check it out. flockfantasy.com/endgame. But it is draft time once again. All right, Chris, what's the MO for tonight?
Tonight we're doing half PPR. I know people always ask if we can do half PPR one, so I like to throw one half PPR one in a week. I like to keep them simple: 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Half PPR tonight.
I do like half PPR. I'll say I think it's reasonable. Give a little bonus for catches, but not go full PPR. One of these days, I'm just going to convince everybody to go point per first down, and then the world will change to that. Until then, we'll go half PPR. All right, and let's see. We already got several people in here. How does this happen, Chris? How is it that besides you and I, we already have some people in there?
Well, they've joined us at flockfantasy.com/endgame, and now they get access to the link. First dibs to the link, so they can just sit back, kick their feet up, and wait for the draft to fill. No stress for them. But for everybody else, it says we got 22 people online at 8 spots. So good luck, everybody.
Yeah, do the math there. Look, we do usually 3 mocks per week. So try to get different people in there. But let's see who's in there. Roberto's in here. He was an observer last time. This time I have a feeling he's going to join us, but let's do it.
All right, here we go. Link dropping in 3, 2, 1. Good luck. Good luck. See some familiar. Ooh, somebody. We got a new. Oh wait, no, that's not a new guy. I mean, it's a new guy, but I don't think it's really a new guy.
We got Frank Gore again. Isn't now it's like Frank Gore's cousin?
Well, we got Mahatma Gandhi in here.
Right.
Gandhi drafting with us. Although Jazz Chisholm is in here too, so I don't know who Gandhi is.
You never know. I do recognize most of these. I'm not familiar with Gandhi in the fantasy football sense, at least. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. All right. Well, that's it. We're full. Not surprisingly, it does go fast. I know, but again, that's why we do it multiple times per week. Yeah, we can't do a 20-man draft. It just doesn't make sense. But even if you didn't get in, you can check out and maybe draft vicariously through one of these teams. So let's get it going.
All right, here we go. Don't forget, half PPR, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Here we go.
And you're up.
Roberto, I'm just here for the upset viewers who didn't get a spot. You know, it's like I'll be honest. There's there's 2 sides to this for me. There's like the one side that's like, man, I wish everybody could get in every single time. I'm just one of those guys that wants everybody to be happy. But then there's the other side that's like, how did we get to the point where people literally cannot get into our mock drafts? Like, remember, it wasn't that long ago we could barely fill these things. Like, we couldn't even fill a mock draft.
I know. Hey, it's a good problem. By the way, you got 15 seconds left. Right? You're on the 2 spot.
Oh, I forgot I was at the 2 spot. Thank you.
I figure you can't be deliberating that long for Ja'Marr Chase.
No, I was just because I was thinking about it after our draft last night. Just like, man, how did we get here? How did we get to the point where we fill a 12-man draft in a matter of seconds and 20 people can't get in?
Yeah, so good question asking about the Patreon. So Patreon has become basically something else, and that's what I talked about at the very beginning. If you didn't catch it, you see it scrolling right down there. Flockfantasy.com/endgame. So this is our new kind of hub for all the stuff that we would be giving to patrons. It's just here instead. It's actually it's more. I should say it's that, but it's a lot more because we get some written articles. You're going to see some bonus videos, some links to live drafts and things like that. But also, you get the rankings that we put up there are now also included with consensus rankings from other sites that are part of the Flock, and also those articles, right? What they're putting up there, get access to that too. So, anyways, all that stuff, just check it out. Trust me, it's worth it. 30% off if you go and use that Endgame link right there. And you can do a free trial at no obligation, or you can just jump in the Discord and that's it. So worth checking out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, this is replacing our Patreon and way more, because to be honest, we during the season, I think the Patreon was great because we had our live show, which we will still be doing the live show. Don't worry. I know I saw earlier Michael was on here. Where's Michael? Michael on here. We'll be jumping into these after the draft. Miss you guys. Miss you too, Michael. I know Michael has asked. Don't worry. We'll still be doing the live Sunday morning shows. That will not change for anybody who has signed up to flockfantasy.com/endgame. Just like if you were in the Patreon, you'll still get those. But during this time of year, our Patreon really, to be honest, sucked. We didn't do anything. Like, Pierre would update the rankings every so often, and that was really it. Like, that's all you got. Now you're getting articles not only from us, but from the other guys. You're getting bonus videos not only from us, but from the other guys. I know we're going to be doing special endgame. We're going to be doing special endgame fantasy football leagues just for members. I know they have stuff planned for the site beyond just what is there now. Like, there's going to be cool stuff if you play Dynasty, similar to Keep Trade Cut type of stuff you get on there. Hopefully, trade calculator, draft guides for seasons, like stuff we never gave our patrons. So, yeah, this is 10 times better than anything we had before. Yes. 10 times better.
Definitely. So there it is. Spicy. It's going to still be spicy. Absolutely. And just trust me, it's just now starting. Even if you check out what's there, it's going to grow so much even over the off season. Remember, it's March. It's early. Most people aren't really even thinking about fantasy football this time, except for us because we're fiends. So yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was saying right here. All right. So, by the way, while we were talking, notice, we were saying the dilemma now here is the end of the first round, and you're talking about Garrett Wilson versus AJ Brown. I got them both, so I'm not too disappointed.
Yeah, that's pretty nice right there. I like Hulk Smash going JT Bijan on the turn too. That's really nice as well. Some good starts in this draft for sure.
I feel like it's kind of win-win there, because had one of those running backs fallen to me, like I'll take them, and I'm pretty good there with one of each. But as it is, getting both those receivers, yeah, don't have to pick.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Definitely seeing running backs going a little earlier in this format, as they should. Half PPR, only starting 2 wide receivers. I know we get Chubb. Keith taking Chubb that early. I'm shocked. I didn't know Keith was on Nick Chubb. I didn't know Keith was so on Nick Chubb this year. Wow.
Hey, apparently that Browns offense is going to be better. Half PPR, maybe. That's a good.
I don't dislike Chubb. I'm just shocked that Keith took Chubb. Because Keith is pretty anti-Chubb, I thought, but I guess not. All right, I think the pick here is running back. Chubb. Maybe Keith is drafting for 24. Is he drafting for 24? See, if If you guys weren't in the Discord during the season last year, you won't understand that joke, but it's an incredible joke. You got to get in, you guys. I'm telling you, it's like, and I know it's like easy for me to say because I'm biased, but the game day discussions during the season have got to be some of my favorite things of anything fantasy related. Just the game day discussions in our Discord.
Yeah. Where everyone panics about every play.
Yeah, it's like somebody hasn't. It's the first series, and the guy only didn't catch a pass, and he's gonna bust. He's gonna bust this week.
Key Singh, half PPR. That's what did it for him. Take Chubb there all day. Do you wonder if I mean, he probably wouldn't have made it to him back in the third round.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I would take Chubb over Debo. Maybe. Probably not. I just think, like, I don't know. I think there are other running backs I like more than Chubb.
Yeah, we have talked about becoming more passive. I don't know if they'll be pass heavy in terms of they're going to be this huge swing. I mean, yeah, we know they want to pass him more because they actually can with Watson, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to just go away from Chubb and all of a sudden they not establish the run. I mean, that's still mostly their identity. So, yeah, there goes Pollard.
So Nate's saying game day chats are worth the price of admissing, and then he corrected it with as mission.
Mission.
But at least he saved it with the typing like I got Aguilar hands. So at least he saved it.
There you go. All right. All right, fair question. Well, let's not post this one up yet until these guys get taken.
I don't like to answer. So, Yvonne, we see your question. It's a good question, but we want to wait till people have picked before because we don't want to influence anybody on their picks. Anybody who's listening in.
Because it happens as soon as we start talking about a guy, someone takes him. Like, I don't think they even like necessarily hear what we're saying. Like halfway, like we start talking about the name, and then you see it pop up at the draft board. So
exactly.
Let's wait.
I remember that draft we did a couple weeks ago where you came on late, and you and I drafted together, and then we would like talk about our picks. We'd pick one guy, and then the other guys we talked about would be like, boop, boop, gone. Wouldn't even make it gone. So we'll wait.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's one, but
there's one, but not the other one yet.
And running backs are definitely going early. It's like,
yeah, definitely going earlier in this format.
I don't want to reach.
Big Lenny.
Actually,
Discord, the only place for expert fantasy content, as well as political experts. I don't know if I would say political experts.
Yeah, we're trying to stay away from anything political. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't catch us debating in there. So I know that Hulk Smash already has 2 running backs, so I'm gonna see what he does here. I got my quarterback. Wait, we're starting 2 wide receivers and 1 flex?
Yeah, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, 2 running backs. All right, well, there we go. We can pop the question up now. Amari Cooper or Christian Watson? And then look, they went back to back, at least as far as wide receivers go. Who are you taking first?
I still think I'd go Cooper first. I mean, as much as I love Watson's upside, and I do like taking Watson as kind of a high-end wide receiver too. We saw what Cooper did last year. We know that offense, especially the passing offense, should just get better. So, and I don't know that it'll be a big difference because Aaron Rodgers isn't there, because Aaron Rodgers was not vintage Aaron Rodgers, but still, it's still a big unknown as far as Jordan Love and not just what he's going to do and whether he's going to get Watson the ball, but just how the game script is going to flow for them. You know what I mean? I think they might lean a little more run heavy.
Yeah, I agree. I got Cooper higher. I'm big on this passing game. I think the addition of Elijah Moore is very telling that they want to open up the offense and they want to throw the ball more. And I think we see a better Deshaun Watson this year. I mean, it has to be better. This is a guy who was a top 5 QB every single year except his rookie year. Didn't play football for 2 years. Comes back with all this stuff going on. Plays terrible. And people are like, he's not good anymore. I don't buy that. I think he's still very good. I think the Browns, Deshaun, the passing game, going to be very good this year. So I'm going Cooper as well. Even though I do like Christian Watson a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Man, so I really feel like I kind of reached there, but I don't know. It's like all the running backs left. There's only one other guy I kind of considered, but since it's half PPR, I went Dobbins. Okay, fair question. We did talk a little bit about Elijah Moore yesterday. He's free. So what does that mean for DPJ? I don't think it's like a death knell for him. I mean, there's still going to be plenty of targets to go around. You know, there's more than 2 receivers on a team that get thrown to, and DPJ right now still looks like the number 3 guy.
Yeah, I definitely think it hurts him a little bit. But my guess is they're going to go 3 wide receiver more often. So it's not like he's going to be on the field less. You know, but he's not locked into like the number 2 guy anymore. So I think it knocks him down a little bit, but it's not like DPJ is a guy we're drafting early anyways. He's a kind of a late round flyer guy anyways, and I think that's
right.
That's appropriate now.
Not sure what's up with Sam. He's been on the drafts multiple times a week. Looks like he got autoed to Swift, which is not a terrible pick, although it's not a pick I would have made. Yeah. So Sam, hopefully you can get back on there.
Yeah, and Sam, I think you have to go onto your phone to get off auto, or at least you used to have to. Maybe they fixed it this year, but you used to have to go into your phone into Sleeper to get off auto.
Right. Obviously he's here. He made a comment here, but you have to take yourself off or you're going to be auto drafting again.
Yeah. Otherwise you're going to auto draft again.
All right. How about this? Speaking of Elijah Moore, you see him getting more volume than someone like Dotson, Deontay, Hollywood. I mean, if Deontay stays in Pittsburgh, no, because even though he didn't get targeted as much as maybe he should have, I don't think Elijah Moore gets more targets than Deontay or Hollywood. Dotson, it's hard to say. I mean, if it's Sam Howell at quarterback, then how many targets are going to go around, really?
Yeah, I don't see him getting more than Deontay or Hollywood. Dotson, maybe. But not Deontay or Hollywood.
You are up.
I am up.
Oh, Terry's getting taken. I mean, this isn't round 3, but getting taken earlier than expected again.
Yeah, this is a tough decision between 2 guys. There's probably no clear right or wrong answer. I think I'll play it a little safe with the guy who actually played football the last year and a half, or at least most of the last year and a half.
Always a good pick. NMB. Always someone asking about his pick from before with Olave. I'll put that up as soon as you make your pick.
I was hoping Fields would make it back to me.
And that's the thing is I kept talking about this, right? On Tuesday, I took Hurts, and I was like, yeah, I could have waited for Fields like 2 rounds later. And then last night I took Fields. And today, though, based on where I was, it's like if I don't take a quarterback at the end there, I knew that those top guys aren't going to be available to me back in the end of round 5, you know? So it's like, not that I had to, but I didn't want to wait for like tier 3.
Yeah, this is just a spot where like I don't love any of the running backs. I've already got 3 wide receivers in a 2 wide receiver league. Like if Fields would have made it to me, he would have been the easy pick there. But all right, I'm still going to lock on my quarterback with Herbert. Hopefully hopefully with the new OC they open it up more and he does not just dink and dunk in all game.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Eckler's still there, so that'll help things out. So let's get back to that question. Now it's a little farther up here. So Olave was taken here. Actually, we've seen Olave go in round 2 a lot. Technically 3-1. So do you think he's going to be maybe overhyped?
I don't think so. He was great last year as a rookie. Everything points to him being elite. We know Derek Carr, if nothing else, he can support a fantasy wide receiver. Michael Thomas, I mean, are we still doing this? Like,
No.
Yeah. Not worried about Michael Thomas. I think Olave will be great.
No, like to me, that's not even part of the conversation. Like I could care less what Michael Thomas did this offseason. It's like Derek Carr, is he going to support? He can. I mean, Devontae Adams was a stud last year. He can support a high-end receiver. He's done that before. Now, the other thing is we also talked about the Saints running situation. If Kamara misses the season, misses 6 games, whatever, they could have to lean on Carr more. They paid him a lot. We could see a lot more passing in general out of this offense, out of necessity. And they haven't fixed that defense, which is still okay. Like, not terrible, but still, they might wind up going more pass heavy than people think. And Olave is going to be the main beneficiary. So, yeah, I like Olave at the end of round 2. Like, he's not going to be Garrett Wilson, but he's not too far off.
That's the thing. They weren't that far off last year. People act like Garrett Wilson was miles ahead of him, and he wasn't. He wasn't. They were very, very close. In fact, you could argue Chris Olave statistically was better because he missed 2 games and I think he only had like 11 less receptions and 60 less yards in 2 less games. So statistically, Olave was almost better than Garrett Wilson. And you can't say, well, Garrett Wilson had to play with Zach Wilson because Chris Olave had to play with Andy Dalton. So it's not like Chris Olave got to play with some great QB either. I still think Wilson is better, but I think it's much, much closer than people think, especially in Dynasty. Like in Dynasty, I feel like there's this huge gap between them, and there really shouldn't be. There really shouldn't be.
Yeah, let's not forget that. Very important fact. All season, it was Andy Dalton as his quarterback, and he still put up some big games. Yeah. I feel like he missed more than 2 games. It seems like he was out longer, but he was also limited a lot of times. But that's that recency bias, right? People will remember the end of the second half of the season, Olave did nothing, right? Because he was either inefficient or hurt. But in the beginning, he was a stud for a while. All right, here goes JSN. Take my number 2 guy. All right, Hulk Smash ready with those picks.
He was ready. He was ready. Need to find a better spot for us.
Yeah. I did notice that at first, messing with the layout, because then the comments would cover us up. We don't want that.
We'll just go down here for now. Figure it out later.
Let's see.
I will say Gandhi drafted a pretty good team there. Pretty solid team.
Okay, so we just had T-Law get drafted. And Young Money, what's up, Young Money? You think Burrow and T-Law could be the same guy? At least for fantasy.
Could they be? Yes. Am I ready to say that? No. No. Yeah. Let's see it. Let's see it from T-Law first.
I get the line of thinking, right? These are both pocket passers. They're going to have to win with their arms, rely on that volume. Even though I do like the Jags receiving core now much better. They got Ridley, they got Kirk. It looks pretty good. Ingram solid, but it's not Jamar Chase, T. Higgins good. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
But could they be similar in fantasy? Yeah. I mean, they could be.
The thing is, I just feel like Burrow, I feel like the difference between them is Burrow will give you those like 30-point week winners. You know, where like you had Joe Burrow, you won this week. I don't see that from maybe that'll happen next year, but I just don't see that from T-Law, where he's going to give you those 30 plus, 4 or 5 touchdown games that we could see from Burrow, because that Bengals offense is just like they can drop 30 plus, 40 plus on any given week.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm not scared of Dalvin Cook in the end of the sixth round.
I considered him. It's been too long since I got my Cam Akers, so I went with him.
All right, let's look at this board here.
Couple of questions, several comments here about Miles Sanders. Are we liking him in his new spot? No, I mean, I don't see him being a workhorse. He's not built. He's not built like Najee. He's not that guy. He's gotten better with his hands, but that's not really his strength, is being a third down passing down back. And I don't know that Carolina's going to use him that way. So I don't like it better than Philly. Obviously, Philadelphia, one of the best offenses in the league, one of the better offensive lines, and that's what matters. He's not going to have those holes. The thing is with Sanders, he kind of relies on the blocking in front of him to create those holes, right? I think he's still serviceable. I think he's fine. I think he will get used quite a bit, but yeah, I can't say I like him better than with Philly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you my biggest worry with him in Carolina is Deuce Staley. Deuce Staley was a running backs coach in Miles Sanders' early career in Philly when he never was used as a workhorse. Then he went to Detroit, and DeAndre Swift was in the three-headed committee with Justin Jackson and Craig Reynolds. Now he's in Carolina, and he literally said, I use 3 running backs because playing running back is like being in a car wreck. He literally said, I use 3 running backs. And he's always used 3 running backs. Like, when he's always done something and he says he's going to do something, he's probably still going to do it. So I think Miles Sanders will be okay. But yeah, people like drafting him to be a workhorse, I think is a little optimistic.
Yeah. And, Foreman's gone, but they're going to probably use Chuba Hubbard. They still have Chuba Hubbard, I think. And then somebody else.
Devon asking how was Swift drafted before. I would draft Swift before Pierce anyways, but it was an auto pick, to answer your question.
Yeah.
It was
Accidentally.
I would draft him before Pierce. I think people are a little too crazy about Dameon Pierce, in my opinion. But maybe I'm too crazy about DeAndre Swift. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, that's interesting because I kind of feel the opposite here. I feel like I prefer Sanders a little bit in half because he's not really that pass catching guy. And I think they'll find somebody for that role. So, but Chuba pass based on having him as your RB2. Yeah, probably.
And Chuba can handle the pass catching role, and I bet the Panthers aren't done at running back.
Won't have Hurts stealing goal line TDs. Yeah, but was Sanders ever used as a goal line back anyways? They bring in Boston Scott. They bring in Kenneth Gainwell, who, for some reason, even though Gainwell is like smaller than Sanders. And yeah, I mean, I get the thinking here, but I still don't see Sanders getting very many goal line touches. But here's the other thing is Eagles were always near the goal line. Panthers, how often are they really going to be at the goal line?
Yeah, that's the thing. How many goal line opportunities is he even going to get? Like, I'm not out on Sanders.
No, not completely out, but I mean, I can't say I like him much better than last year. Pierce, yeah, I did think about Pierce when I took Akers, and then if I was going to go with a third running back instead of a third receiver, that's the guy I probably would have taken. Maybe Cook because he was still available.
I mean, I don't understand the Pierce love. Like, what am I missing on Dameon Pierce?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, is that to me the Singletary signing, that's good for Pierce because that means that they're content to have a guy who can be like a 1B or more just like a backup, not actual competition for regular touches, just a change of pace guy. You know what I mean? And they're not going to draft a running back, I don't think, any time in the first couple of rounds. So to me, it seems like Pierce is still set as the guy. The offense will be better. Just by default, it has to be better. And Pierce was good until he kind of wore down and then got hurt. So I think he could be more efficient this year.
He's one of those guys that's real life good and just fantasy okay. Like, look at his game logs last year. He wasn't, very touchdown dependent, not going to catch a lot of passes. Like, he's not a guy like. I mean, I had Dameon Pierce on a couple teams, and it's like you started him, and he never killed you, but it's like, okay, you got 12. You got 13. Like,
yeah, I would like 10. To see him catch more passes. And that's the weird thing.
That's what I mean. Like
I'm really good at that.
I'm not completely off Dameon Pierce, but people are acting like Dameon Pierce should be like a top 15 running back or something. Like, why? What did he needs double-digit touchdowns to do that, and he needs to survive the draft. And Houston has 3 picks in the first 32 picks or 33 picks. So he needs to survive the draft as well still. Like, it would not shock me at all if they go running back in the draft.
Well, they got more pressing needs. But
when you have 3 picks that early, you can address your other needs and still go running back.
Yeah, but they need a lot of help on defense. But here's the thing, too, is Texans, again, new coaching staff, new offensive coordinator, maybe new philosophy. So we'll see how Pierce is used. I mean, I'm not going to even pretend that I know. Like, are they going to use more just one back, or are they going to try to rotate guys, or are they going to use Pierce more as a pass catcher? Like, I don't know. But I'm still pretty high on his potential.
Hard for me to see him using it as a pass catcher. That's not really his game. But
he was pretty good. I mean, he's pretty good he's got good hands, and he's good at that. He just wasn't used that way last year. But again, I think that might be more coaching philosophy than that's like a limitation of his.
I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. We'll see. I don't know. Again, I had Pierce on a couple teams, and it's always just felt very meh. Like, okay, he didn't kill me this week, but he didn't really help me. He just kind of was there. Was just kind of there. And it was just week after week of that and then he became really bad. Then there was a stretch where I stopped starting him because he got really bad. Because he wasn't scoring touchdowns, not catching passes. So you need if you're not scoring touchdowns or catching passes, you need to run for a lot of yards to be fantasy good. Like, a lot of yards.
Right. We'll see how much improved that offense overall is. That's the real key here.
He's saying this draft is wild. Hey, you go half PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, and nobody knows how to draft anymore. People don't know what they're doing. People don't know how to draft anymore.
It's definitely different. I'll tell you that. It's very different from mostly what we get. I was kind of surprised Kelce went later than usual.
Travis Kelce?
A little later. I mean, we saw him go in the top half of the board. Wasn't he like the number 3 pick last night or something?
Yeah, I think that's more shocking that I think right around there is fine. I mean, I would personally take Lamb over him, but I think after Lamb, it's fine.
Harris over Cook. I think that's a result of the half PPR format.
I think Austin just might be really high on Damian Harris in that Bills offense.
Yeah, I mean everybody loves the Bills running back, right? Until they don't, because they're
until they don't.
Until they're playing.
Until Josh Allen runs in for 3 touchdowns.
I don't know. It's weird. James Cook is still one of those guys that are divided. Either a lot of people still, feel like last year he's got this great potential and he could be the guy. And some people are like, yeah, forget it. He didn't do anything as a rookie. He's not going to do anything this year.
I think the Damian Harris signing definitely was not great for him in the sense that his role will probably be very similar to what it was last year. Change of pace guy, catch some passes. I mean, maybe he'll catch more passes because one thing about Singletary is he did catch a lot of passes. So maybe Cook will catch more passes. But Damian Harris is going to be the early down goal line guy. So,
all right, so we got a believer here. Sam says Cook is the RB1 in Buffalo.
I don't think James Cook. This is the thing. It's like I don't think James Cook can ever be an RB1. Just like I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs will ever be like an RB1 in the sense of a workhorse running back. Really? I mean, it's just hard when you're that size. Like it's hard to expect to get 15 plus carries when you're that size. And it's hard to get 15 plus carries when you're that size in the NFL and last 17 games. That too.
Yeah. Yeah, Gibbs is another guy that's going to be interesting. Some people are, think he's going to be a breakout this year. He's just, just needs the right opportunity. And then some people feel like we don't know, of course. Landing spot will determine a lot how these guys get used. I think with running back, it's so crucial.
Yeah, it always is with running back. I did see something today where somebody said Jahmyr Gibbs is the RB1 in any draft class.
Well, I don't know if it's the same thing. Somebody said in any other draft class.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Bijan, then he would have been the consensus RB1. I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. There's plenty of other draft classes, like the one from a couple years ago. Yes, like where it was like. So Javonte Williams was by default the second best running back just because there was nobody better than him. But
so we're saying if Jahmyr Gibbs is in the same class as CMC, Jahmyr Gibbs is clearly ahead of CMC. If he's in the same class as Saquon Barkley, he's clearly ahead of Saquon Barkley. Like, how can you can just say whatever you want on Twitter with no ramifications. Jahmyr Gibbs is the RB1 in any other draft class. So he's what about AP? What about Joe? Would he even be the RB1 with Jonathan Taylor in that draft class? Like, come on.
Shouldn't be.
Would he even be over Brees last year? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, to say what has this guy been watching football for 1 year? Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. He's the running. He'd be over those guys. Oh, I'm on the clock. Getting all riled up over here.
All right, you're up. You are on the clock.
Yeah, I gotta make a pick quick here because.
You see, you took Charbonnet. Speaking of rookies, but then you missed. I don't know if you wanted Israel again, but missed out on him because got taken right after you took Pony.
Yeah, I missed out on him again because I was wasting time talking about Jahmyr Gibbs being the running back one in any other draft class.
Right. That's what happened.
I mean, I totally agree. Like you can't say that. You can't say that. Come on. And look, I talked about this last night. Gibbs may be on another level when it comes to field vision, and he may be impossible to tackle in college. This is the pros. He's 199 pounds. He did not run between the tackles. He barely ran between the tackles in college. did not run any goal line carries. You can't just run. You just can't bounce every single run outside in the NFL. You just can't. You have to be able to run between the tackles at some point. And he cannot. He cannot.
Yeah, and then there goes to this line of thinking, playing Alabama. It's so hard to judge guys who play behind, NFL caliber offensive lines, and they have a guy who could be the number one pick in the draft playing a quarterback and first rounders playing, wide receiver. It helps things out a little bit, playing for Bama. So sometimes these Bama guys get a little overvalued, especially running back. We've seen a ton of Alabama running backs go to the NFL. They have not all succeeded.
Yeah, and I certainly like Jahmyr Gibbs if he lands in the right spot. Because if he goes somewhere and they can get him out into space and out like Alvin Kamara, but not used as heavily between the tackles like Alvin Kamara, but used in the passing game like Alvin Kamara, he could be awesome for sure. For sure. Great pass catcher, great in space, has the jets, has the wheels. But he's never going to be a guy that's going to get that between the tackle carries, the goal line carries. He's just not. So,
yeah,
it's hard. Like, how can a guy like that be the best, be the RB1 in any other draft class? Like, come on.
No.
CMC is just as good of a pass catcher as Jahmyr Gibbs, but a way better runner as far as running the ball between the tackles. And same with Saquon. Like, yeah, this is a crazy thing to say.
And what's funny is that people say those things. What they do is they play, like, they put the highlight reel on there, right? So you're looking at the highlight, look at him, just look, just watch. Like, yeah, that's against, college players and the college teams, but also like you're cherry picking here. You're right. You're taking his plays where he did pop off. All right, hold on up.
Yeah, you can't just watch. That's the thing. You can't just watch highlights. You got to watch the actual games and see all his carries.
Yeah, all these prospects have highlight reels. They all have
exactly.
plays where they look amazing, but they also had plays where they didn't, right? When they're getting stuffed and things like that. But
yeah, even Bijan. You watch I've watched plenty of Bijan games, and there's plenty of times where Bijan gets tackled for loss or stuffed or whatever. I mean, it's part of the game.
It's exactly right.
But again, you watch highlights, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this guy's the greatest player I've ever seen."
Yeah, they all look amazing when you put the highlights. But the thing is, it's not. You can debate ability and speed and talent. That's not what determines fantasy football points. It's that plus opportunity. And you say talent makes opportunity, but I guarantee that a running back is not going to come in off the draft unless it's like Bijan. And oh, you know what? Let's plan our whole scheme around this guy. That's not how it works. So if they don't get the opportunity to get enough touches, they're not going to be a stud. All right, it's my turn. So
wait, how did you get Goddard in the ninth? I just looked at tight end. He must have been buried in the ADP.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about. It's like I usually, right, if I'm not going Kelsey early, I'm waiting, but I can't wait anymore. Goddard there, I feel like it was a steal.
Well, because I looked at the tight end and I didn't I just saw like Freiermuth and those guys. I was like, okay, fine. He must have been buried. He's been buried in ADP.
He's below Waller inexplicably, but he's above Schultz. So I don't know. He was hiding. He was waiting for me.
I guess so.
Etienne better than Gibbs. I mean, like, in what way? Like, Etienne, it's a guy who checks all the boxes athletically. But again, as far as how he's used in the league, I don't know. Maybe Gibbs could be like that Etienne type. And by that, I mean not a stud in fantasy. All right. Since we're doing hot takes, well, apparently, yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the best wide receiver ever. I can't debate that.
Ever.
I mean, right? You can't argue against it.
I can't. he's probably already the wide receiver one. Bless you. He's
Sorry,
probably
allergic
already
to
the
hot
wide
takes.
receiver one next year, though, in rookie drafts. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, this is a good point. Everyone going crazy about George Pickens last year.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that was a pretty good steal.
Yeah, Goddard. That is the steal of the draft. I did not even see him because I was thinking about going tight end over Flowers, so I took a look to see who was there, and I was like, whatever. If I would have seen Goddard, I would have taken Goddard. So that's definitely the steal of the draft. Great pick.
Kamara, did Kamara get taken? I didn't even notice.
He did. He got taken.
Nate, I'm gonna start checking these rosters. Okay, so are you? Well, is that 0 RB? You took Gibbs in the 5th. Does that count?
Close enough.
I guess maybe it counts because that running back was Gibbs, and he doesn't really count as a running back. So, kidding. I like Gibbs. I mean, a lot for him. A lot depends on landing spot. This is also a good point. Young Money bringing the fire. Tavon Austin,
yeah,
was amazing at West Virginia, I think. Things change when you turn pro.
Actually, this is true. I don't always agree with Big Lenny, but if you ever watched Moss at Marshall, it was insane. It was like he was playing against high schoolers or something. It was absolutely ridiculous. But you know what was even more ridiculous? When he got to the pros, his highlight reel of the pros is pretty much just as insane as it was. Like his highlight reel of the NFL was absolutely insane too. Just Randy Moss was just on another level.
Yeah, when you have a whole phrase like named after you, getting mossed, like that tells you something.
Yeah,
I mean,
insane. I'll never forget that thing. Rookie year, Thanksgiving. The guy had 3 catches. I think it was 3 catches for 150 something yards and 3 touchdowns. They did literally Dante Culpepper just snapped the ball, counted to 3 and just
Chuck it deep.
This as hard as he could. And Moss is just against the Cowboys, just touchdown. Oh my God. It was like a video game. This isn't real. This is not real life.
That's what's crazy is you knew it was coming and they still couldn't stop it. I mean, they weren't even having to try.
Yeah.
Now I think back then, when he was a rookie, it was Randall Cunningham.
Maybe it was whoever it was.
Yeah, his rookie year was Randall Cunningham. I remember because
it was just, and I remember at halftime. At halftime, he already had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He only had 2 catches because the reason he only had 2 catches is because he had a 40-yard touchdown and a 60-yard touchdown. So that's why he had 2 catches, because it's they didn't need to throw it anymore than that because it's a touchdown. And I'll never forget, it's halftime and Howie Long, because this is back when Fox only had 2 dudes in the booth, not 50 guys at halftime. And Howie Long is it's not even fair. So he's this isn't even fair. This is not even fair. There's nothing they can do. This isn't even fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Those. Oh, he was pretty good in fantasy.
Yeah, Moss was insane.
All right, getting toward the end here, almost final rounds. Now we're seeing Odell Beckham go. See what happens there. Big Lenny.
Big Lenny taking Lenny.
It's only fitting.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson is also a monster, but Randy. Another thing I'll never forget. I forget what game it was for Randy Moss. It's like he probably did this a bunch of times, honestly, but he just like they snap the ball. He runs. He doesn't even look right. He doesn't even look back. He just runs like 3 steps or something. He knows he's got the DB burned, and he already knows the safety can't get over in time. And he just puts his hand up, like 3 steps. His hand's already in the air, like just chuck me the ball, and they do. And it's like it's just like what the like, dude, just on another level of like freakish. Like Calvin Johnson was a great athlete, but Randy Moss was like the Adrian. You want to see another crazy. Like, you talk about Jahmyr Gibbs highlights, even Bijan Robinson highlights. No. Go watch Adrian Peterson for Oklahoma. Dude. Faster than everybody, stronger than everybody. Just, ridiculous. Ridiculous AP. Go watch his highlights. Just trucking dudes, juking dudes, blowing past, like everything.
Yeah, we're going to get into a big, huge debate on best ever at positions, which we tend to do sometimes. But at running back, I mean, I know you're a Barry Sanders guy. I don't know that how you can convince anybody that Barry Sanders wasn't the best, because he had that speed, but also like he literally broke ankles. Like, yeah, he didn't always get positive yardage, but he made up for it, right? When he breaks that 80-yard touchdown run, yeah, you'll take the.
Exactly.
I'll take the bad with the good. But Bo Jackson in college,
Bo Jackson,
he
too.
was a monster.
Yes. Bo Jackson too. Look at these guys. Like I like your Young Money, but like, you know, football was played before the 2000s. Young Money.
Yes, good point.
Okay, Reggie Bush does have a great highlight tape, no doubt about it. And so does Saquon. But I mean, come on, football was played before the 2000s. Also, you want to see. You know, there's not really highlight tapes of him because it was too long ago. But Earl Campbell has the greatest stiff arm in the history of football. It makes Derrick Henry's stiff arm look ridiculous, like nothing. Like, he literally is running and he stiff arms a guy. Like, the guy's coming to tackle him and he just pushes him forward, and the guy flies like halfway into the end zone. Like, he just flies like 10 yards back into the end zone. Earl Campbell runs in for the touchdown. It's like he just literally just threw the guy.
Earl Campbell is a stud. I mean, yeah, it is dangerous though. Well, I'm talking best. No, I don't think he had a leather helmet. It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but I mean, you say, okay, well, Bo Jackson probably was catching one-handed passes and hurdling dudes while trucking dudes. Bo Jackson was. Barry Sanders, not so much. That's because nobody could touch Barry Sanders. He didn't have to truck dudes. He never got hit. He never got hit. That's why he was still putting up like 1,500. Imagine a 30-year-old running back today still putting up like 1,500 yards. That was Barry Sanders, because nobody could hit him. The guy only holds like 30 NCAA rushing records that'll probably never be broken.
Yeah. Barry didn't have to hurdle anybody because they couldn't catch up to him, and Bo didn't have to worry about it because he just run over him or away from him.
Yeah, Bo probably could though. Bo probably could one-hand catch while hurdling somebody and trucking a dude all at the same time. Like Bo, there's freak athletes, and then there's Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was like a once in a lifetime athlete. Yeah, crazy. Bo Jackson was insane. If we're just talking athlete, just insane.
Yeah, well, for sure. All right, so that wrapped it up. We ended with a Tyler Higbee pick. That was I don't want to let that go unnoticed. Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
All right,
Tyler Higbee.
So here we go. Let's break down the first team here. No surprise, Justin Jefferson got Walker, Olave, Ridley, Fields, Connor, Quentin Johnson, Israel Abanikanda, Madison, Herbert, OBJ, and Tyler Higbee. What do you think?
It's a good team. It's a solid team. I like the wide receivers. I think Connor, as your running back too, is solid. You took some upside shots there down the stretch. It's a good team. You sniped me on field, so well done.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I mean, almost when you're picking out of the one, it's like you have to just try to not screw it up because right now it always looks great. But yeah, that's I don't think you did. I think you did pretty well. You did a good job. I like Kenneth Walker at the 212. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
All right. Actually, I'm surprised now. Go back and look, and it's talked about Chubb went before him, Breece Hall. We'll get to that. But you took Jacobs instead of Walker. Why is that?
Why not? Like, he basically is on a contract here again, unless they work out an extension because he's franchise tagged. He's on the Raiders again. He's going to be the whole offense again. I like Walker a lot. Walker would be like, this is the order I would have them: Jacobs, Walker. But Jacobs is going to catch way more passes than Kenneth Walker, probably.
Right. Okay. Now I was wondering because of the half PPR thing, if that swayed you at all. But I mean, look, if Jacobs is close to what he was last year, there's no argument. All right. So you took Jacobs as, I guess, your anchor because you went Chase, Debo, Nuck, got Herbert, and then you went Cook, Charbonnet. I'll tell you, those two running backs there, you got the 2 and the 3, really good value. Then you took your upside with Tony and Flowers, Gibson, Tucker, and then the Chig. Yeah, this is how I would have drafted out of this spot of giving those choices. This is great. I'm not a Sean Tucker guy, but whatever. That's like your second to last.
I mean, honestly, by the end, I was more into talking about like highlight reels and things like that.
Yeah, you were just picking whatever, so it doesn't.
Yeah, like whatever. All right.
The tightest end was here early, nice and early. Which, by the way, I think it's been too long since I mentioned. You really want to make sure you get in this draft. Y'all have been watching, or you're just watching maybe after the fact, not live. Like, how do I get in draft with everyone else? And put your comments on, be on here. It's down there, scrolling at the bottom. We're on flockfantasy.com/endgame. Check it out after we're off the air. All right. So again, CMC, Breece Hall in the second round. Before we finish out, what do you think about Breece Hall, the 210?
I mean, don't like it, but like I'd prefer Jacobs, Walker definitely over him. Probably Pollard. Probably Stevenson. Probably Etienne. That's probably where it gets close. Just because of the ACL. Like, it's nothing with Breece Hall. Breece Hall is great. But he's coming off ACL. It's asking a lot in the second round. Asking a lot. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if this was like a dynasty startup, I'd be okay with it. If this was Breece Hall and we pretend he never got hurt. But yeah, I think you've got to suppress his ADP to some extent. But anyways, let's keep going there. Mahomes, McLaurin, Deontay, Sutton, Thomas, Gabe, Juju. I'm just going to come out and say I really don't like this receiver core, like, at all.
Yeah, I don't like. I feel like that's too early for Terry. I feel like where you took Deontay is fine, but man, you had a lot of risk, not a lot of upside with these receivers, in my opinion. Not a lot of upside.
Yeah, like, I think Deontay Johnson, like, he's okay there, but okay if the rest of your receivers have that upside. But yeah, I'm not touching Michael Thomas. I'm not touching Juju, Gabe, whatever, Sutton, kind of whatever. So, yeah, not a team I would have drafted. And then I'm just going to go ahead and assume this is Frank Gore again. Gore 9. So Eckler first, Devontae Smith, Najee, got 2 stud running backs there. Then Keenan Allen, Lamar, Hawk, Pacheco, Penny, Elliott, Addison, Thielen. Just going to ignore the second tight end being picked there again.
Yeah, again, I don't understand, but okay. I like the first 6 picks, really. I don't really even mind Pacheco, Addison, Penny, Zeke, even okay. Really, it's just the last 2. And if it's the last 2, fine. Like, I don't think you need, when you're taking Hawkinson, I don't really understand like backing him up with Waller, because you're pretty much banking on Hawkinson being your tight end every single week. So Waller is just a bye-week fill-in. And then people say, like, well, just in case of injury. Well, I mean, if you lose your starting tight end, like, you're probably in trouble anyway. So, but it's your last 2 picks. I like this team. up to those last 2 picks.
Yeah, and want to point out too, this is different. First time doing this format. Yeah, we mix it up because got to prepare for anything. Not every league is full PPR. Some half, some. I don't know if we'll do many standard drafts, but this was half PPR. Only 2 receivers that have to be started. No, that's a hard no to standard. All right. So it did shake things up. We definitely saw some different results. So here we go with, I think, maybe this year's National League MVP. I'm just going to go out and predict that right now. For Jazz Chisholm, went Tyreek Hill, the Miami connection there. T. Higgins, Pollard in round 3, looking pretty good. Burrow, and then Miles Sanders, Dameon Pierce. I think it's okay. I think that's a little early for Sanders. I kind of like the Pierce pick better than Sanders. We talked a whole lot about both those running backs already. Mike Evans, Jahan Dotson, and then the rest of the crew. I know you probably aren't going to love what's going to be in the flex spot based on this.
I love the first 1, 2, 5 picks or 4 picks. Yeah, I mean, there's guys I would like over Sanders at running back there. I'm just like, Pierce is fine there. I'm not drafting Evans. Maybe I know why he drafted him, because he thinks he's going to get traded to the Jets. So like, if he gets traded to the Jets and they somehow complete this trade with Aaron Rodgers, okay, I'll draft Mike Evans again. But right now I'm not drafting Mike Evans. Right. I like Njoku there. I like the rest of his team. I think this is a pretty, there's a couple picks I don't agree with, but for the most part, I like his picks. Good picks.
Yeah, for the most part. And honestly, if you had known, no way to know, but if you had known you could get a guy like Pierce in the next round, could have just gone receiver instead of Sanders, and that would have made things better. But yeah, you never know. Let's go back to this. And Nate agrees. Waller not just taking a second tight end or a backup tight end, but he has flex appeal. Like, you can flex him out instead of taking some rando wide receiver.
I mean, maybe if this was like a 3 wide receiver, 1 or 2 flex league, but this is only a 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. I really hope you never are flexing Darren Waller.
Yeah, I mean, if you still believe in Darren Waller, think he's going to get a ton of targets now that he's in the Giants, I mean, that's fine. Shoot your shot, but I see him as a tight end if you didn't draft an early tight end. What's
the upside, really? Like, I mean, and it's not like, I don't think he's going to be the kind of guy that you flex week in and week out. You're just guessing. Like, okay, I'm going to put in my flex this week and hope. And then, again, this is a 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. It's a very shallow league. I don't think you need like a tight end I'd rather take a chance on a rookie, who could land in a great spot or something like that, who maybe is in your lineup every single week, personally.
All right. And then I can't ignore this because we just talked about his team. He likes Miles Sanders, over Gibbs, Akers, and Connor.
I mean, maybe Connor if they do something at running back, which I think they will. Maybe Gibbs if he goes to like a terrible, terrible spot, but it would have to be really bad, but not over. I don't think so. But, hey, look, everybody has their opinions, so.
Yeah. We're all right at this point in the season, aren't we? Okay. Yeah. So let's get to Keith. Saquon and Chubb, and then went DK, DJ Moore, Hollywood, and Kittle. Pretty solid. Brian Robinson with Eli Mitchell. Eli Mitchell going even earlier, I think, this round 9. Yeah, you were saying that somebody kept taking him.
Drafts, I feel like. What am I? Are everybody just banking on CMC like only playing 3 games this year? But then are you banking on Elijah Mitchell playing more than 3 games? Like, what am I missing on? What have I missed with Elijah Mitchell?
Well, that's the thing. He's like this year's version of Madison, right? Everyone's like, oh, well, if CMC gets hurt, I have the top handcuff in the league. But the funny thing is that Mitchell actually gets hurt more than CMC.
Exactly. So. Like, how many games do you have the top handcuff for? Like 2, and then he gets hurt. I love Mitchell. I was all over Mitchell his rookie year, but the guy can't. He's not built to be. He's not built to be a workhorse running back. He's just not. But anyways.
All right. And so also Mooney and Osborne to fill out the wide receivers. And then Aaron Rodgers as the one and only quarterback here. That's not Bus's team. No, that's Keith's team. All right. So Rodgers aside, what do you think of the front end of this draft with Metcalf, Moore, Brown as receivers and flex?
I mean, I like his receivers. I like getting Kittle there. I like Barkley. There's at least 4 or 5 guys I probably take over Chubb. But again, if Chubb's your guy, Chubb's your guy. And I don't really mind the guys he took. Like I don't mind like Brian Robinson, Mooney, Mitchell, Osborne, Mostert. I think it's fine. They're those late round guys. So it's a good team. It's a very good team.
This one definitely more of a high floor team, very veteran team, especially in the top. Nothing wrong with that. Definitely can be a playoff team for sure. And then we have the chef, or I guess the cook. I think you have to be like officially certified to be a chef. We'll just say the cook. All right. Cup, Waddle, Etienne, Monty. Interesting. 4th round. Have we seen Monty go this early?
4th. That's the highest we've seen Monty. Somebody's all in.
I did that just now, like dawned on me that he went that early. I mean, look, we talked about it. In fact, Nate posted this a few days ago, didn't he? About Detroit on running back fantasy opportunity. It was like they were number 1 last year. So we'll see. Drake London, George Pickens. I like that. Damian Harris, Javonte. Got Deshaun Watson, got Cole Kmet. There's definitely upside here.
It's definitely upside. I mean, the Monty pick feels very early. You know, I'm not on Javonte. I don't think a guy who's going to miss 3/4 of the season is a value in the 8th round. But I mean, people are going to talk themselves into him. But that being said, I do like that he picked Skyy Moore. By the way, I like this team. It's got a lot of upside. Cup, Waddle, Etienne's a great start. London, Pickens, a lot of upside there. I mean, I don't know how much upside Lenny has, but I like Kmet. I like Deshaun. I think that's a great value for Deshaun. So, yeah, I like this team.
Yeah, Lenny was like the sentimental pick there, you know.
Yeah.
I think the only pick I don't like is the Javonte pick. And really, as your 4th running back, it's hard to hate it, you know, and what was left on the board.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
The 4th running back, 8th running back. If he misses 3/4 of the season, it could be your 20th running back. He's not worth it.
Well, I mean, if we think he's out, well, yeah, with Javonte, yeah, because he's probably not even going to play half the season, so he probably wasn't.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like with Brees, it's like, okay, I get it, because we've seen guys come back from ACL, start the season, and get it going by the end. But Javonte's ACL is the J.K. Dobbins ACL. It's the everything ACL. It's the everything's torn apart to pieces, terrible recovery ACL. To me, like, there's no value there. There's no round where it's like, oh, he's a value here. No, because he's probably going to be on the waiver wire at some point. And that also assumes that they don't draft a running back.
Well, and I've been talking about this too. So it's like, you know, new coach, new philosophy. Peyton, he's going to get a guy that he views as a fit for his scheme. And so, yeah. All right. I'm not going to hedge. I'm just saying, I hate that pick. I hate the Javonte pick, but I like all the other picks. So
yes, but it's still a good team. Look, nobody like gets every pick perfect, so it's fine. Like, still a good team. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I will say that I don't hate the Javonte pick as much as like the Michael Thomas pick. So there you go. I think that's a good compromise. All right, let's go on to Nate, your team. Diggs, Adams, Pittman went early, wide receiver, Andrews in the 4th round, and then Gibbs, Mixon, Dak, and then filled out the running backs here with Gainwell, Kamara, Spears, Wilson. I guess we can call it your RB if you really want us to. So what do you think of this kind of build?
I mean, I like this team a lot. Or at least I like the first 7 picks a lot, like the starting lineup a lot. Getting Gibbs and Mixon as your RB1, RB2 is still solid. When you start that way, you've obviously got great wide receivers. Assuming somebody good goes to the Colts. I like taking the chance on Andrews there. I don't know. I'm not doing it with Godwin. I'm just not. I just don't. Godwin might be okay. I'd like more upside there, or I'd maybe like another running back there, and then maybe take an upside wide receiver later, personally. But this is a very good team. This team should definitely has a lot of upside, a lot of potential.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to those 2 running backs that are going to be your starters, Gibbs and Mixon. Like, where's Gibson going to play, and where's Mixon going to play? So I think it's solid, very solid here. And then Mahatma Gandhi is going to go with Kelsey, Henry, Watson, Big Mike, and Kirk. Aaron Jones, Elijah Moore, Tank Bigsby, Jacoby Myers, Nico Collins, Tua, and Rashawn Johnson.
I gotta say, this might be my favorite team so far. I mean,
I like it.
The best tight end. You got Derrick Henry. You got 3 extremely high upside wide receivers. You got Aaron Jones, who I think will still be solid. You got Elijah Moore, who's got potential. Then you got Bigsby, Myers, Nico, who all have potential. Tua, who we know will be good if he's healthy. And Rashawn, I like this team a lot. I think this has got to be the best team so far, in my opinion. This is my favorite team so far.
Yeah, there's nothing I don't like about this team. I think Aaron Jones is your RB2, even though it is that half PPR format. Like I said, I think Packers will lean a lot on those running backs. I think that's really good for where you got him. I really like Tank. You know this. So, yeah, I'd like this team a lot too. All right.
Who knew Gandhi was such a good drafter?
All right. Sam, drafting now from the 10th spot. I think I want to say he was like the number 1 yesterday, wasn't he? Or maybe that was the day before. CeeDee Lamb, Sun God, Ramondre, which I was a little pissed at because I was set to take him. So you did snipe me. Good job. And then the unfortunate auto of Swift. Not disastrous, but still.
Exactly.
JSN, Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. Baby Burrow, Rachaad White. We got JMO, Miller, Ingram, Mechie, McKinnon.
I like this team too, even with the Swift pick. I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst pick there with the auto pick. You got 2 awesome receivers. You got Ramondre. I think I don't know why people are so low on JSN. I think he's going to be great. I like T-Law. You got potential in the back half of the draft. Don't quite like it as much as Gandhi's team, but I think it's another good team.
Words I never thought I would hear you say. Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, personally, I know it was whatever happened. I would have taken a receiver at the 4 and then taken one of those running backs on the way back at the 5. But yeah, I think you got some upside here. I feel like the late picks here were a little too much shot in the darky, like with Mechie and McKinnon and Miller.
Yeah, maybe for this format because it is shallow.
Rachaad White, I hate to say. Huh?
No, go ahead. No, I was agreeing with you on that because it is a shallower league. It's not like you don't need to reach deep like we do in most of our drafts. It's a 2 running back, it's a 12-round draft. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
And then even like Rachaad White, I mean, the thumbnail says it all with you and Baker and the Tampa Bay offense. We just want to stay away from it. And Rachaad White, half PPR, it's going to hurt him. But anyways.
Yeah.
All right. And then my team, I went with those 2 wide receivers early. I kind of feel like, I was set to take Ramondre. So then I said, okay, let me pivot and went quarterback. I got my running backs later. I feel like I played the value game here again, and I'm pretty happy with my running back group for this format.
I think your running backs are fine. I like those 2 wide receivers a lot, of course. Jalen Hurts, great. Getting Goddard in the 9th round was a steal of the entire draft. I don't know how that happened. I think this team has a lot of upside. I mean, those first 3 picks alone can win you weeks. I think Dobbins will be great this year. I think Akers as your RB2 is solid. Lockett has a ton of upside. I like this team. Definitely like this team.
And like I said, I feel like Dobbins was a little early. I think he gets bumped up a little bit in half, but still, I knew that if I waited a running back, who was going to be my RB1. I really didn't want to go 0 RB in this format. Anyways, and then we got Hulk Smash. JT and Bijan, cannot argue with that start. Cooper, Judy, Ayuk, and Burks with Josh Allen in the mix. We won't spend more time talking about James Cook or Brandon Cooks. Freiermuth was also a pretty good value here. So let's talk about the receiving core specifically because you're set for sure at quarterback and running back. What do you think about Cooper, Judy, Ayuk, Burks?
I mean, I like it. I don't even mind Cooks there. You know, you taking some shots. I like Ayuk a lot this year. I like Cooper a lot this year. You only need to start 2 of them, and then you could figure out a flex with one of these guys. So I think in this format, it's totally fine. I think Cooper and Ayuk is your every week wide receivers, and then maybe Judy or Burks or Cooks, or even maybe James Cook, or hey, even Pirine, because we've seen Pirine in Cincinnati. He can handle the every down role. And if Javonte isn't ready and they don't do anything at running back, Pirine could be the starting running back in Denver. And he can catch passes, he can do all that. So I like that team.
I mean, if they don't do anything else significant at the position, again, I was kind of talking Kareem Hunt to Denver, thought that would be a perfect fit, and that would make him definitely somebody I'm interested in. Well, it's Samaje Perine instead. Who knows? Maybe he fills that role. Maybe he's the sleeper that we're all looking for. But yeah, I think since you're only starting 2 receivers, I think it's fine. You know, I'm not in love with Judy, especially if he does go to the Patriots. But Ayuk, I think that was good there. But yeah, this is a good team too. All right, well done, everybody.
And then really
so
quick,
that wraps it up. Huh? Go ahead.
I thought we had a question. Okay, so here from Avon had a question. How can I draft with y'all? Randoms on Sleeper? Yeah, randoms on Sleeper are terrible. So how does he get in these drafts?
Randoms on Sleeper, randoms anywhere is not what you want to deal with. Okay, so the question is again, how do you get in these drafts?
How do you get in? How does he get? What are the options to get in these drafts?
Well, option number 1 is wait till you get that notification from YouTube, get in there and frantically smash the mouse button, hoping to join as soon as the link drops. That doesn't work out too well for everyone, as you know. So you did notice also there's also fewer spots available because we had, besides the 2 of us, a couple of people already in the draft. That's because they are on flockfantasy.com/endgame. That's the link you go to, and that's for our new hub. I think that's the word I'm just going to go with from now on. Instead of Patreon, migrating from Patreon to this Flock, because there's so much more that we can offer instead of putting up, you know, the stuff kind of ad hoc. It's all there. There's a rankings site. It's a full-fledged website with rankings for Dynasty, Best Ball, Superflex, Dynasty. It's already up there, by the way. And I'm about to update my rankings, I believe tomorrow, or if not Saturday. And of course, when we get closer, redraft too. So there's a whole rankings with not just our rankings, but also from some of our friends on there, like Fantasy Stock Exchange, Fantasy Land, and of course, the Flock himself, Mason. And there's articles. Chris has gotten back into writing and he loves it. He wants to do more of it. So we're going to have written articles there. You can say, put some of my best 5 best ball guys I'm targeting and best ball avoids before the NFL draft. And Chris, you put up there, guys, you're never drafting again, right? The written version though.
I did that. I did best ball avoid, or I think I did best ball players I'm higher on than consensus. And I also have done I've done 2 articles and 2 bonus videos so far. And it's just it's only been live for like 2 weeks.
Right.
I don't even know how many. I think in 3 years on Patreon or 2 years in Patreon, I did maybe 5 bonus videos total. So we're definitely giving you way more than we ever did on Patreon. So appreciate everybody who. The other thing is, if we're going to be real, Pierre and I, even though you may look at it and think, wow, these guys, this is all they do is fantasy football. Sadly, it's not all we do. We still have to work and pay the bills. But our dream is to only do this and just do this all day long with you guys. And maybe we could do 3 or 4 drafts a night or 3 or 4 drafts a day, right? We just do this all day long. But we need support, right? From more than just YouTube AdSense. So if you want to get all that cool stuff, plus support us, help us, achieve that goal. And get all the other cool stuff for yourself. Flockfantasy.com/endgame. It's super low cost too. I mean, really, I think it's like 30% off. Not a huge investment. You can do month to month. You can do the whole year. Yeah. Anyways, there's my little pitch.
There you go. We'll keep pitching it. We have plenty of time until the season starts. Time for you guys to check it out. So do that, especially if you're in dynasty leagues. You're going to find so much content that's going to be very valuable. It's going to explode about a month from now after the NFL draft. So all that stuff. And quick final pitch here. Thank you, Bus, who just joined the Endgame Baseball League. And there is a fancy Endgame Baseball channel. So even if you have never watched a game of baseball in your life and don't care that exists, you can still support us by subscribing and watching the Fantasy Endgame Baseball League. And if you are a baseball fan and you love fantasy baseball too, get in there and compete with us. I'm in there, of course. Bus is in there. I think today we had a couple more guys join. Jimmy's in there. Tristan, who is like, I don't even know. He is like commissioner for like 20 leagues or something. I don't know how he does it, but yes, check that out too. There you go. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Nate. Always knows the exact words to kind of explain what we're trying to say. So
yes.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again next week with more mocks. So be ready if you haven't already and you like this and you were just watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit notification bell so you know when we go live. But of course, if you're in the Discord, if you're in the Flock site, you'll know because that link will be posted nice and early. All right. Thanks for watching.